I mean, the most familiar part of this case that people know about, Steve obviously doesn't talk about too much, was the water formings. And in particular, one of the water formings that we had he was lucky enough to be able to capture on film, on camera, and take samples of the water, and then also take separate samples from different areas of the house, go up in the attic and check. There was no wet spots, there was no leaks or anything like that from anywhere above. Take it away, have the water sampled by a professional organisation, the British...
No, it was a Northwest Water
Laboratories. It was tested, and the differences between the water was so immense that they even commented, we don't know how that's done.
For the technical minded...
What's added to the water?
I'll explain that. For the technical minded, water content has an electrical charge. When we draw it out from the tap, water passing through a copper pipe creates friction, electrical charge. And that electrical charge is measured in UCSMs. And the water board will know that.
What's the UCSM?
The UCSM is the amount of electrical charge in water. Okay. It's what they refer to the electrical charge in water, because it's passing through conduits of copper. Okay. So when we draw a glass of water, there's a certain amount of electrical charge in there, right, which can be measured. Now, normally on a glass of water, they reckon normal tap water about 93 UCSMs, which is an average. It's harmful, not harmful, should I say. It doesn't do any good. And what we've done is we took a control sample from the taps, because we were trying to prove the council can't be right here at Watchdog Council, because the family, they're not doing this. Mm. So where's the water coming from? So we took samples of the tap water, and there was, on a couple of occasions, but one of the nights, we watched, in amazement, 4 of us stood in the hall as water ran across the ceiling. And it wasn't dripping at the time neither, it was running across. It's very difficult to explain. It was defying gravity, as I was speaking. It moved an arc around the ceiling.
So was it like somebody pouring something on this table? And
If I'd got this glass of water and gone like that, but somehow controlled the water to arc, right. That's what 4 of us were watching on the ceiling happening underneath. And we're stood under it, watching it, and it's not dripping. And we couldn't believe what we were seeing. So we did manage to get a sample of it. We got it, caught it, fantastic. Get down to Northwest Water Laboratories as soon as we possibly can, because as you know, water evaporates at every temperature. Won't stay. So the sooner the analysis, the better. So we gave them the control sample, we gave them the suspect sample, and they ran. The tap water was nothing unusual. Tap water, 93 UCSMs average. The water from the ceiling, they scratched their head on it a bit, because they measured 2,900 and something UCSMs.
2,900?
Yeah, this water was profoundly electrically charged. They don't know how that can happen. There was obviously traces of a couple of chemicals in there, which are found through us actually scraping the ceiling. That's how good they are. They actually told us, you scrape the ceiling when you actually took the sample slightly, because you've got British gypsum, this, that and the other, these chemicals, and you can say, well, that's from the paint, that's from the plaster, and da 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 da. They were absolutely fantastic, but they could not explain.
So it's almost 300 times the safe amount that you would have in a glass.
Now the problem you're going to have here for some people with some beliefs who are watching this programme is putting 2 and 2 together and saying, well, that electrical charge and the electrical charge when Steve felt when hit by an unknown force, does that in some way indicate electricity as part of the poltergeist? And they're going to go hunting for electrical means in a building, and then everyone's got poltergeists.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there probably was some electrical content to it, the phenomenon itself. I mean, it's referred, if you study the poltergeist phenomenon, that for one incident to take place over here, the last incident has to dissipate.
Yes.
For instance, if you have a water forming that appears, which sometimes you get different types of formings. There has been, over the years, tar reported. Even in Canada, there was a case where blood was reported. O rhesus negative. Apparently, it was neither of the people that lived there either. But the now case, water forming, that would have to disappear for the next phenomenon to use, because poltergeist phenomenon utilises the fears and energies created from the individuals that witness phenomena. Poltergeist horror doesn't waste its actions. You know, it has to be around to see them.
But this is the whole thing about the poltergeist thing is that and a lot of ghost energy. I mean, that's why your seances are said to work, because they're using your energy, and they're using energy as a force as a conduit to come to the earth and do what they want to do. And I think I kind of understand people at home saying, because of what happened to you, and the way you explained it was like an energy electrical shock hitting you in the back, this thump that you got, plus this sort of 300 times the acceptable level of electricity in water is coming from the ceiling. But is there some energy that is escaping from that house or around that building that we can't measure yet, only in physical form? You measured it, or you felt it in a non-physical form. I mean, it was physical to you, but the form it hit you wasn't.
We did use all the normal type of equipment that we would normally use to do baseline tests throughout the whole building, the area the building is located. And we got no adverse anomalies reported to us, no spikes in GMF, EMF, no microwave, nothing unusual.
And you would expect their electricity bills to be kind of
a bit sporadic.
Fairly sporadic if they're losing electricity. Because there's quite often, I mean, one of the things that I know quite a few people believe that these balls of light that we see, I know we've spoken about balls of light moving around people and all this, that they are in some way escaped energy that forms together. We don't quite understand it, but it'll do that, and because energy stays, it doesn't go. It'll go, and then it might fade a little bit.
Well, this is an area that we've been studying quite in depth, and it also relates to the ufological side of things as well. What the earth light consists of is when the teutonic plates are rubbing together, cause friction, cause a ball of light to be released. This is happening everywhere. People don't realise that the UK have got an absolutely amazing amount of fault lines, and we have more earthquakes, mini earthquakes, than actually people realise. There's actually an organisation based down in London who follow this, and they can tell you all about earthquakes. You contact the British Seismological Survey team, they'll tell you exactly the same. So these things are going on continuously. A lot of them we've found are actually built on some Stone Age sites as well, some ancient monuments and such like. But if your house is under a certain location where these frictionless plates are rubbing together and causing a small ball of light, then you've got possibly an orb, as we'll term it. Right. It's not the orb of the paranormal sense, it's not an orb of the dust, it's not an insect, etc., etc. It's another type, another variety entirely, which is a very, very small percentage, we believe, are actually being captured.
Yeah, there's a number of sections which have to be really sort of looked into, and that is this section of NEA, these natural electrical anomalies. Things that we really do sort of have to open up and look at.
It's funny though, isn't it? Because but what you're talking about is something that's plausible. You see it, you can feel it, you don't want to touch it, but it's there. And a lot of the other stuff, what we term the paranormal orbs, are kind of it's interpretation of what you're seeing on infrared cameras, a lot of it, and on digital photography, which is kind of, and I think 99% of that are.
Well, one of the photographs in particular that we've seen actually shows a small ball of light near to a certain board, and it actually gives a shadow as well, and it's a significant shadow. Actually offers something totally different to anything else we've seen.
That is what you need. You need that shadow, and it's funny because I've not even really thought of that.
We've got a ball of light that's giving off its own luminosity to the point where you can see its reflection in the skirting board paint.
See, that's superb, and we're going to carry on talking about this after the break. But please don't go away, and we'll only be a couple of minutes.